a mental symbol. It might not. It's one of those mental pictures, like if I try to picture the feeling of metal in my mind, or the feeling of a certain type of wood in my mind. There's a mental symbol for it. I don't actually see the feeling. The sense of touch isn't something that you can see in most cases, but there is a symbol of it in my head, and I think that that's the kind of thing a person has to develop, and it just takes a lot of practicing and a lot of thinking about music and a lot of giving love to music. I think music's always there for anybody who puts in the time and the work, and I think there's many paths to get to very similar places. But I really love learning theory because I can hear, if you put on a song, I immediately recognize the intervallic relationships to where I've learned it already without even picking up my guitar. And yeah, well, it's possible that somebody can do that without knowing those things, but it's all just so clear to me, It's
right.
Like, I'm really grateful for that, and I don't think it would be as sharp of a sense as it is without knowing those things, And I think it's only been a recent phenomenon in a lot of ways amongst people who really work hard at music that they've gone so far with it without learning things, because there was a time where if you really wanted to do something big, other than like folk music or something, you had to learn how to read, and you had to learn how to write music, and you had to, learn harmony and learn how to orchestrate it, and those things didn't limit, people like Beethoven and Mozart and Stravinsky, and they only help. Like I said, but like I said, you do have to go through a period of strain for a while, and to really get the ideas digested, you might have to put your creativity on the side for a little while, and if you're not willing to do that, then it's not a good idea to learn it. But if you're 15 years old or 16 years old or 17 years old, there's just no reason not to learn that stuff, because yeah, you might have a couple of years of not being as creative as you were before, but how much you're able to do with it once the ideas are digested and then it's not a strain to think about them anymore, it's wonderful.
Our reader by the name of Cradle88 says, "You seem to love all kinds of music, funk, dance, hip-hop, etc. Is there any particular kind of genre that you've never warmed up to?"
Well, it's not, I don't really think of music in genres, but I like it when they, play off of each other, and I really hear the spirit of music more than, the formulas that connect two people of the same style. Mainly, I just don't like it when it sounds to me like music is being made in order to impress people, or in order to, please business people, or in order to, please the masses or whatever. It doesn't sound good to me when it sounds like it was more important to somebody to do something that was going to make them famous or make them loved by people than that they were doing something where there was just a harmonious relationship between them and the creative force of music, And that's a real apparent thing to me when it sounds like somebody's making music for the wrong reasons. I hear it right away. I think there's another thing that, besides the personality, that too much emphasis is placed on is the style of music that somebody's doing, or the way they dress, or the radio station they would be played on, or the section they're in the record store. To me, the real important element of music is the energy behind it, and a sensitive person who loves music can feel that, and you just know the difference when you hear a band at a point in their career where they were doing it for the right reasons, and at the point in their career where they were doing it for the wrong reasons. It's plainly apparent, and
yeah.
That's the style of music I don't like, is when I just feel like somebody's doing something just because they're getting paid a lot to make that record or whatever, or because they think it's going to make everybody love them.
But I guess what this person is asking is, back in the day when there was Tower Records, say, would you walk in and not go to a certain section because, I'm just not into that kind of music?
Well, I go through phases of things. No, I'm real open-minded about music,
Mm-hmm.
I like all types of music, and like I said, I just don't divide it up in my head that way. I like all kinds of things that would, there's very few of my friends who would like. I don't think there's any of my friends who would like everything that I like. I've just always been like that. I love a huge variety of things,
A reader by the name of Vivi says, 4 years ago, you said that your lyrics were a big joke. Do you still feel the same way?
I think that's being taken out of context. I like to play games with my lyrics and make things that are sort of amusing to me,
Mm-hmm.
to offset ideas with other ideas in ways that you never would in normal everyday speech, you know. Ever since I started really having fun writing lyrics, it's always been in a way to sort of put ideas together that seem contrary to one another, or to do things with words, like I said, that would be ways that you'd never be able to put them together in everyday speech, but somehow the ideas are informed by the quality of the music that they're joined with. And just like in poetry, where the meter sort of gives a meaning to the words, I think it happens in an even more powerful way when you're writing lyrics, you know. And I think you should always be having fun when you're doing things. So it's like, they're not ideas that make me laugh or that I think are silly or something. Mm-hmm. They're just ideas that I find amusing and that trigger some sort of an echo in my head that makes me feel good, you know.
Dalgard asks, how much do you play in a particular day? Do you have any kind of set process for your playing?
You know, it's always different. I mean, sometimes I'll spend a lot of time with another instrument besides the guitar, and that'll have just as dramatic of an effect on my guitar as if I was playing guitar. I remember the time we were doing that By the Way album, I was playing piano a lot, and it really helped the way that I saw chords on the neck of the guitar, just because chords make more sense on the piano and you can get a bigger picture of them than guitar, and then you can push yourself with doing certain types of stretches to incorporate the same types of intervals that are really easy to grab on the piano. You can apply those to the guitar, you know. It's always different, but I think about, and also sometimes it's just as good to be thinking about music as to be actually doing it, you know. Sometimes just sitting there listening to music a lot, you can learn just as much from as playing. But when I was a kid, I used to practice somewhere between like 8 and 15 hours a day, mm-hmm. and I'm not really any different now, you know. Whether it's on one instrument or the other, or whether it's mixing, or whether it's like messing around with a synth or something, I'm doing music all day long every day. And in the Chili Peppers, I was always just it would be an all day thing for me, you know. It would be like waking up. If we were writing a record, just wake up, you know, practice, go to rehearsal, play for 4 hours, come back, eat dinner, play all night, listen to records. It's all I do. I'm not really too interested in anything else.
I did an interview recently with Chad Smith, who basically said that there was about a year or so before the Chili Peppers were going to be active again. Is that basically the plan?
No, there's no plan.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no plan.
So you guys haven't... You're
going to have to stop the tape recorder.
Okay.
The official... Or you can leave it on, and I can just say the official news is just that there is no plans to do anything, and we were on a hiatus of indefinite length. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just absolutely no plans to do anything, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, we worked really hard for 10 years, and you know, there's other things in life.
Well, I think your new record is fantastic. It's really a great experience.
Cool, man. Thanks so much for your support.
Absolutely. This is Joe Basso with Music Radar, the place for music makers, and I've been speaking with John Frusciante. John, thank you very much for spending all the time with me here.
Cool, man.
Alrighty. You take care.
Cool. Yeah, have a good night.